Be sure to thank HyperX, Thermaltake, and Sapphire in the comments. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And also be sure to click on the links in the description. Mushkin.
I love these guys.
Yes, indeed. They've got some crazy stuff going on with memory, so we're going to talk about it for just a minute. First off, that's the red line and the black line, but this is the new Frostbite DDR4 modules. These go up to 3333.
That's ridiculous.
That's beyond what I've seen with most of them. In fact, a lot of motherboards are going to be like, oh god, and you're going to have to like do some crazy cooling and all that, but they can do it, so they did. And then beside that,
we've got the ridge back.
Yep, indeed. This is the prototype.
Yeah, this is the new prototype stuff. I'm gonna walk out with these ones. They're gonna hit me
DDR4, all this DDR4, of course.
All this DDR4. I'm actually more interested in the next line of this stuff, but this memory is always fun. It's all DDR4 stuff. Now this one also goes up to 3333.
Yep, all but 30. Yes, exactly.
They both go up to 3333, which is what above and beyond what you can actually do with most motherboards right now.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's move on and take a look at their USB drives, their USB 3.0 drives. The one on top is the special one. It's got a SandForce controller on the inside of that, and it's pretty much the same type of flash memory that you'd see in a lot of their other products. So it's going to completely max out the USB 3 bus, just 450, 480.
This is one of those devices that you end up using as, like an admin side. You use it as your Swiss Army knife of everything and anything you ever want to do. Everything from installing OSs to having multiple OSs. You can just boot off this baby. It's 30,000 IOs, which is like, what on a USB? What are you talking about?
USB. It's going to melt something.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's great. And this one here that they've got is 240 gigs. So you've got more than enough for, again, it's that Swiss Army knife of repair, reduce, destroy.
Now, the other ones are also really fast USB 3 as well, but the one on the bottom there, that's 64 gigabytes, tiny.
And it's the size of my pinky nail.
Yeah, that's everyone's music library right there. Shove it in your car. Done.
Yeah.
All right, moving on over. Check out this stackable PCI Express solution.
This is interesting. The controller on here can only handle 4 devices, so you
stack them up.
Yeah, so you stack them up, and you got 4. These are 4 512s. It ends up being 2 terabytes of rated SSD memory, SSD storage, which is pretty fantastic, and it runs into the PCI Express. So this one's the 2x4 or 3x4.
2x2.
2x2.
Yeah, 2x2. So you're going to end up getting around 900 or something on the read on that one. So pretty fancy, fancy schmancy.
Terabyte MES cards as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To get 4 terabytes.
Get terabyte mezzanine cards in there. You can get even more space.
More storage.
And that's a Marvell controller. So, so yeah, that's. It also supports trim. I want to mention that this supports trim, which is a very cool thing to have in a device like this. We've seen a few of these PCI Express. This is a true native solution for the PCI Express. This is not an M.2 plugged into a device. This is not a bunch of memory rated with 2 SandForce controllers. There's one controller on there that's going to control all the memory, and that helps out with the op RAM when you're first starting up your system. It's not going to slow down. You won't have to worry about anything like that. Other than that, when you get into the machine, what was that?
So this one here is the 2.0 by 4. So this one's got 4 lanes.
So yeah, it'll be quite a bit faster.
Oh yeah,
probably around 2 gigabytes a second.
And because
that's maybe depending on your benchmarks.
And because of the fact that it's not an adapter, it's not an M.2 to this, it's a native PCI Express. That it is going to be a lot faster.
Yeah, and this one down here can be PCI Express. The little guy on the bottom here can be PCI Express or SATA, depending on whichever way. They're both going to run on the SandForce controller. So I think that's enough for the SandForce controller for now. Let's move on to the SMI controller, which is going to be this new reactor right here. Yep, there it is, the reactor. 1 terabyte. And the thing that's nice about that is the price point that you get. You also get, really decent performance. Not quite what you get with the SandForce and the Phison, but, decent performance. And
for the price, this one is definitely going to be worth the money for it, because it's like 37 cents per gig, so it's not ridiculously overpriced, and for a terabyte, that's incredible. It's a little bit slower than some of the other products out there, but we're talking
but
marginal.
Your game library.
And for the price point and the space, it's negligible.
Yeah, that's my entire my entire idea with this one is my game library.
Yeah, no, right now I'm on the laptop I've got a 750 gig drive that's a mechanical drive, so I'd swap it out for this thing in a heartbeat.
Yep. All right, let's move over and look at the Striker. We've seen a lot of the Phison controllers coming out. This is kind of a prototype. There is actual real hardware in there, but this is a prototype using the Phison. Like 565 on the read. It's ridiculous. This one's going to be, of course, at a more premium price, but I mean, these things are still like 50 cents a gigabyte or something like that. Just still crazy.
It's going to be less than that.
Less than 50 cents a gigabyte, so.
And this is the performance model, so you're gonna definitely have the kick up in performance versus the previous reactor one.
All right, performance, just everything aside. This, there it is. Yeah, that. Okay, Phison controller, yes, but PCI Express Gen 3 by 4. what's that, like 3 gigabytes per second or something like that, or almost 2.8. Yeah, just go ahead and melt your face, guys. Just melt it right off.
I think I'm just gonna have to build a board that's got nothing but M.2. I'm just gonna wire like several PCI Express lanes into it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make something up. I'm gonna make it work so I can put like 10 of these in a machine.
I mean, there's going to be some compatibility, you know, to consider with this, you know, which board. But if you're going to get something like this, you get this before you get the board. Normally you plan your system around the board and the CPU, but with this, it's so freaking fast. You're just like, no, I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to figure out what board I should get to go with this, and then, you know, get your CPU and everything else. So 350,000 IOPS. Well,
I think it just melted my brain.
yeah, everything's melted. We are basically, yeah.
That's starting to compare to some of the big storage solutions that you deal with. I mean, that is insane. That's like a 14-disk RAID right there.
Storage is no longer the bottleneck. You heard it here.
All right, we're gonna do this real fast because they're gonna yell at us. Okay, so this is the Myris. It is a iris recognition software device scanner, so it's not recognizing your retina, but it's recognizing your iris. And the first question I have is, so what happens if I hold someone's face open and put it up to this thing? She said yes, we could actually, if a person was alive and somebody's face was forced onto this thing, it would totally unlock your machine. So remember that, folks. If you want to not let anyone do this, scan your iris and then stab out your eyes.
Stay alive.
No, stay alive, and yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's really cool. It locks everything. It keeps it nice and happy, encryption, military-grade stuff, and it locks everything out. So it's all your passwords and everything gets stored in a database that's encrypted. So you use your iris to unlock it. Just make sure you're not, you know, you get in a car wreck, you're screwed. All right, we're gonna talk about this. It's got voice recognition. It's got 1 in 500, so people can imitate your voice and it works. Fingerprints, you can actually imitate someone's fingerprints and put them down, and they can also be scanned. Facial recognition, people look alike. Apple's Touch ID.
Nope.
Means that your phone is not as safe as you think it is. And then single iris is 1 in 1.5 million on the false positives, and where DNA is 1 in 800 trillion, billion, gazillion.
So it's good, but we need DNA scanners, right?
Yeah, DNA scanners would be great, except they need to be giving your DNA to everything. Okay, so check this out. This is a SAS, so it's a SAS expander. It allows you to plug this into your current existing drive enclosures, external RAID subsystems. You connect all this wonderful stuff up into your giant hard drive array. It's basically this is the OEM for, I'm just so excited about looking at this. This thing right here is a stack of ports. These things are expandable and daisy chainable up to 168 hard drives. It is insane. This would be used for like a hard drive enclosure, not so much a server per se, but like a hard drive enclosure. There's a bunch of the big retailers, like they all have storage solutions like this, but this seems to be just OEM, make your own. Not exactly the cheapest thing in the world.
What's my favorite color? It's purple.
Check this out. This is a RAID Drive 2 Plus. It's from Super Talent. They do a lot of server grade solid state drives and solid state, and ECC memory and that kind of jazz. But this right here, it's a RAID Drive 2 Plus. It's got a really nifty thing where it's got built-in ECC and redundant firmware that allows it to just not die, but it takes away the SATA function, and it's SSD, it's PCI Express. It's mainly for server solutions, data center storage stuff when you need really fast. Mostly data caching, kind of stuff you'd serve websites with, like high capacity website load, that kind of jazz, or Facebook would use something like this, that kind of crap. The max speed on these babies can get up to 2.6 gigs a second, while the write up is 3.2. It's amazing how it writes faster. I guess that's the caching function of it, but hey, stuff that I want in my home computer.
We all know HyperX makes gaming hardware, but they also have a YouTube channel centered on gaming culture that is about to hit 100,000 subscribers. Go ahead and click here to check it out. You may not know it, but Sapphire is sort of the AMD brand. They even make the OEM cards for AMD themselves. Click on the screen to see what's new and maybe some secrets. Thermaltake always has a lot going on, but this year they really have a lot going on and they have upped their game. Click on the screen to check it out.